Hello, Lisa Richard here with Loving Energy Recharge. Welcome to Inner Alchemy. Inner Alchemy combines the teachings of human design, the gene keys, and incorporates some tools as a more than existing Lightworker coach. As the mandala wheel in human design continues to turn, we now find ourselves entering through gate number 47 from September the 9th, taking us through to the 13th. Now, if you take a look at your human design body graph, gate number 47 is up in the ajna. So this is a third eye activation that is taking place during this time frame. And last week we were on the opposite end of this gate. We were up in gate number 64, which was the other part of what is known as this channel of abstract thinking. So really encouraging us to move past the logic of our mind, past our tendencies to want to rationalize everything, and really tap in to your intuition. So if you had a chance to listen to last week's Inner Alchemy video, we allowed ourselves the opportunity to discover the shadow of confusion and how we very often get confused when we're sitting so much time up in our mind trying to figure everything out for ourselves, and then learning how to shift to your imagination. Well, what if? What if there were other ways? What if there were other possibilities? And it was in learning to inspire ourselves, to raise our vibration, that many of you may have discovered breakthrough moments. You might have been able to really harness that imagination within yourself to shift yourself away from confusion and be shown that there are, in fact, diverse possibilities, unlimited potential to overcome or move through whatever was standing in your way. Well, this week, we're now on the opposite side of that channel, really putting some pressure on that third eye activation to now take a look at the shadow energy of oppression and move us through into transfiguration. When we trust in our intuitive ability and we understand that the third eye is more than looking at the world through your human eyes. It is more than your perception of reality. It is moving beyond the confinements of your own belief system, your self-sabotages, your limitations, your oppression, to know that there are unlimited possibilities. So if you have gate number 47 in either your human design chart or your Gene Keys profile, this is where we're really looking at karma and how we accumulate karma over our lifetimes, including the ancestral DNA. Now, gate 47 is also known as the problem solver. It is somebody who comes in and just has a knack for solving problems and really having the opportunity to have those breakthrough moments, those self-realization. And there is a story in the teachings of human design, and it talks about the great mathematician Archimedes. Now, Archimedes was tasked with discovering if the king's crown was made of pure gold or if he had been fooled and given something that was of a cheaper alloy. So Archimedes was tasked with this job, and I believe in the story he was put under enormous pressure to find a solution and to prove beyond reasonable doubt to the king whether his crown was genuine or not. And I imagine he had a lot at stake, probably even the possibility of losing his own head if he couldn't come through with that. So think of that in terms of your own life and how much pressure we put on ourselves to have to figure something out. And in the story of Archimedes, it goes on to talk about the length of time he spent going through all different kind of scientific experiments, racking his brain, and just getting to the point of being stuck and becoming absolutely exhausted under the worry of what he was to do to solve this problem. And in that despair, he ran himself a bath. And I imagine back in those days, that required a long process of boiling the water and filling up a tub. And then finally, allowing yourself to hop into that warm water and to settle in and to finally relax the body. So with crown in hand in the water, he all of a sudden noticed how when he got in the bathtub, the water poured over the edges. And in that moment, he went, oh my God. And he jumped out of the bathtub, and he's famous for running through the streets, bare naked, crown in hand, yelling, Eureka, I've got it. Now, when you think of that in terms of symbolism, it is when we are willing to shed away all of ourselves and stand naked and vulnerable in the realization of we don't know the answers, but they do. And in willing to bare ourselves and strip ourselves down and fall into that state of surrender, the relaxation, well, then we are afforded these breakthrough moments, these moments of deep realization. And what Archimedes realized is that the weight of his body dispensed the water. And therefore, he could measure whether the crown was of real gold by placing it into water, because it would be heavier than a cheaper alloy. So he is famous for the scientific discoveries of buoyancy and many other things. But did it come from him? Or did it come from his willingness to move himself away and receive the universal wisdom that is there at all times? So this week is really about diving into the potential of your third eye, of your awareness system, of really moving through your own oppression by being honest with yourself. And through crossing the bridge of ownership to come to the realization that nobody else is coming to save and rescue us, we have to save ourselves. And by saving yourself, it means moving your small self aside, your egoic self aside, your worries and your fears aside, and reaching up and out for that higher guidance, claiming the responsibility of show me how to move through this energy, show me how to overcome this obstacle, have the light guide your way forward. And it's only during those moments of listening and stillness and surrendering over to that higher power are we then gifted with the breakthrough moments of the clarity of where to go next. And when you have the courage to start walking in the direction of the truth that you're being shown, that is where we move into transfiguration. So you're transforming yourself. You're moving beyond your limited mindset. You're moving through your fear stories. You're moving through your self-sabotages. And you're trusting that you don't know what lies ahead, but your intuition, your higher self, is guiding the way. And in doing so, you're setting yourself free. You're allowing the light within your cells to shine forward, to illuminate your body. That is the Sudic form of transfiguration. We are so much more than the stories that we hold. We are so much more than our ancestors. This is your book to write during this lifetime. So are you going to write a story that is full of oppression, suppression, I can't do this, and projecting perhaps blame out into the world, the system, the boss, the government, the circumstances, allowing yourself to stay in your oppressive state? Or are you willing to take ownership and say, you know what, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be an opportunity to move through this. And when we step aside and we open ourselves up to reminding ourselves that on the other side of this channel of abstract thinking was our imagination and was illumination. It was all the possibilities of what if? What if we are here to thrive and not just survive? And the other day I was uptown and I saw a van and it was painted in all these beautiful hippie colors. I live on Vancouver Island. We have a lot of free spirits here. And on the side of the van was written the words, "I'm not here to work to pay bills and die." And that was a very powerful statement. And as I was looking at that, I thought to myself, and I wanted to find the driver and ask, how are you living? You see, I'm more interested in knowing how somebody is living their life, not how they're stuck in their life. And yeah, a lot of us can recognize the realities of how different systems are not working right now and how the cost of living is so great that it feels like all we do is work, sleep, repeat, work, sleep, repeat. And that becomes a state of oppression. That is numbing yourself to the reality of your world as you know it. But what if we were to take ownership of that? What if we were to take a real assessment of your life and ask that question, how are you living? And maybe you are living in a world where you've accumulated a lot of things, but there's not a lot of time to use those things. So those things just kind of weigh you down. And or it's the mindset of, well, this is all I know how to do. Well, what if there's a shift? What if there's opportunities for breakthrough to cultivate more of a work-life balance, to come into a greater flow of trusting that the universe is generous in nature and we will always get what we need and a little bit more? And by shifting our mindset towards that, it's really taking ownership and responsibility over your life to look at, well, how do we distract ourselves from reaching our goals? What are we doing to accumulate so much stuff to potentially make ourselves feel better, but they're ultimately bearing us under the weight of oppression? How can you allow yourself to use this energy to do your own transfiguration, to work through your own inner alchemy process by being really honest with yourself this week and starting to free yourself from those things that are really weighing you down and oppressing you? And what this energy is doing is it's really leading us forward. We're in the ring of alchemy right now. It is preparing us for the fall equinox. That is through gate 46 in human design and the teachings of the gene keys. It is a representation of the love of the body, the love of your human, the vessel that is housing your spirit. And it's when we learn to really love and honor the human that we are then allowing ourselves to fill up with light, with love, with the guidance that's going to illuminate the way forward. So we have to empty ourselves in order to be full. We have to move beyond the worries, the confusion, the trying to figure out life through logic, and understanding that you cannot explain your intuition. It is a knowing, it's a quiet voice, it's a gentle whisper, it is a gut sensation. And it's only when you come home to you and you're willing to look at where you're suffering and to be honest with your feelings, that you can then get the clarity of, you know what, this is real. My oppression is real. My feelings are real. My suffering is real. My wounding is real. So where do I go from here? And that is where we shift from the dark night of the soul's journey up into the hero's journey. You are the savior to yourself. You will receive the guidance, but it is up to you to take the action steps. And that is where we transmute our fear stories. I can't, it's impossible, to recognizing that, well, the word possible sits in impossible. So what if you were to change your story? What if you were to start to believe that you have all the ability to connect to your higher self? And by loving your body and loving you and doing the things that really honor yourself as an individual, you can move beyond your oppressive nature and into one that is illuminating, transfiguring, and inspiring. So where are you going to start this week to move yourself in the direction that you know in the deepest recesses of your heart is correct for you? I'm sending you all so much love. Enjoy this beautiful process of inner alchemy. If you would like to learn a little bit more about inner alchemy, the work that I do, including our brand new workshop that is coming up right away. It is coming up during the period of the fall equinox. It is a self-guided opportunity to access the materials and to move through your own contemplations, as we're going to find ourselves in a time between the fall equinox and the halfway mark, which is known as the gate of creativity between the fall equinox and the winter solstice, where we're going to go through all 7 gates of the splenic activation. So there is a new opportunity to come in through the doors of a self-guided workshop known as Healing the Ancestral Wound, an opportunity to move through some of our deepest fears in order to seek the wisdom of our deepest intuition. So we are not a product of our ancestors. You are not your ancestral story, but you have been raised in a world that has conditioned you since birth. So it is time to take the dive back into the self, into you, to move beyond the shadows, the fears, the ancestral karma, to tap into the great, great wisdom that is stored in all of that. So why not allow this time for you to move deeper within yourself? And just like the fall equinox that is coming up, learning to let go of everything that does not serve you. It is a beautiful process of releasing and letting go and allowing more light to break through and illuminate you and building that deeper faith within yourself. So if you would like more information about that, please visit my website, lovingenergyrecharge.com. There is a free video in there to watch and to contemplate, to discover for yourself if that feels right for you. I'm sending you all much love, and I look forward to gathering next week as we go through gate number 6, which is going to be down in your solar plex, your emotional center, in the teachings of human design, and branching that through into the gene keys. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.